Test 1 review. Okay, a positive times a negative is a negative. When we multiply, we add. Imagine writing 5x's and then 7x's for a total of 12. Number 2. That y to the negative 2 is going to move because it's negative. So it's going to come to the top as positive 2. 20 divided by 4. The x's are being divided, so subtract. 17 minus 16 is 1. It's bigger on top. Now, on top, there's 4 y's and 2 y's, so there's 6 of them. Number 3, rationalize the denominator. What we do is multiply by the opposite of the bottom. So this will be 8 plus. Okay, so the top is going to be distribute. 3 times 8 and 3 times the square root of 6. The bottom is FOIL because it's 2 and 2. First, 8 times 8. Outside, 8 times the square root of 6. Inside, 8 times a negative square root of 6. And last, negative square root of 6 times positive square root of 6, square root of 36. The O and the I cancel out. Okay, so we have 64. The square root of 36 is 6. And then on bottom, we have the square, we have 64 minus 6. Okay, and that is our answer. Okay, we're raising everything to the 1/2. A number means inner root. The number on top in, bottom out. So that's the square root of 9, which is 3. Okay. Now, for the letters, we multiply the powers. So that's 6 over 1 times 1 over 2, which is 3. So x to the 3. Multiply powers, y to the 10th raised to another one. Multiply straight across, so we get 5. So y to the 5th. Multiply, square times itself, FOIL, 2x times 2x, 2x times negative 11, another negative 11 times 2x, and last, negative times negative, oops, sorry. negative times a negative, and 11 times 11. Okay, those like terms, the signs are the same, so add and keep. Okay, this is also FOIL. 12x, 12x. 12x times minus 1. 12x times 1. 1 times minus 1. Okay, cancel. So 144x squared minus 1. Okay, then some factoring problems. Okay, trinomial, understood 1, multiply to 12, add to 7, 3 and 4. Okay, now the number 8 is a trinomial, but it's not an understood one. So we're going to use trial and error unless you use something you learned in high school. Always start with the first. 3x squared has to be 3x times 1x. Okay. Now we're missing the last. So those two blanks need to multiply to 20. Okay. We could have 5 times 4, 20 times 1, and 10 times 2. Okay. We need to make sure whatever we do, it FOILs out to that trinomial. Okay, everything's positive. So let's check. 3x times x. Outside, 3x times 4. Inside, 5 times x. Last, 5 times 4. Okay, the 12 plus 5 does give us 17x. Okay, now number 9 is our difference of squares. So we break down each thing. 7x times 7x. 6 times 6 to equal 36. Positive times negative. So the OI cancel, and so that we get negative 36. Okay, number 10, a binomial. Squares with the plus is prime, meaning nothing will times out to equal that. Okay, a division problem where we have a bunch of x squareds to factor. Okay, the first thing we want to do is remember our rule for division. Keep the first. Flip the second. And change to multiply. Now everything there has x squared, so it's probably going to factor. Top left, trinomial, understood 1x squared, multiply to 12, add to 8. 6 and 2. Bottom left, also a trinomial, also an understood 1, multiply to 36, add to 12. 6, 6. Top left, or excuse me, top right, trinomial, understood 1, multiply to negative 54, and add to negative 3. Okay, so we need to multiply to a negative 54 and add to negative 3. So minus 9 plus 6. Now the bottom right is a GCF. They both have an x, which would leave x plus 2. Okay, now let's look to see if we can divide anything out, cancel out. Okay, I've got a plus 6, another plus 6 pair, a plus 2. Okay, so what do we have left? X minus 9 on top, x on bottom. And that would be our final answer. Okay, first thing we need to do is factor that bottom right. Difference of squares, plus 2 minus 2. Now the common denominator is not what they have in common. It's what they can both become. I'm just going to rewrite. Okay. These can both be the thing on the right. Okay. These can both be the thing on the right by doing what? If we multiply x minus 2 on the left, they'll both have x plus 2, x minus 2. Okay, so I'm going to distribute the x on top left. Okay, now they have the same bottom, so I can write everything as one fraction. No like terms on top. So I get x squared minus 2x minus 8. Okay, but the top can factor. Okay, the bottom's already factored. We're doing this to see if it cancels. Okay, the top is a trinomial. It's got an understood 1. So multiply to negative 8, add to negative 2 is minus 4 plus 2. Okay. Now we can see our x plus 2's can divide out. So what's left on top and what's left on bottom. Okay, you can't cancel out at this last step because that's subtraction. You can only cancel out in that step on the left because they're being multiplied. And that is the end of our practice test for 1.